I think that there, and I want to see if you agree. I think there's alpha and beta cheating. There's
Okay.
women that get cheated on by guys with options, and they'll usually
Mm,
stick it out. But there's nothing worse than a woman getting cheated on by a guy who she thinks can't. Those are like the biggest crash outs I've seen, and I want to know if you
yeah.
agree or disagree.
I never described it or conceptualized it in that way. But now that I think about it, it does make sense that there seems to. Why is it that so many of her exes that are the cheaters and the abusers, she'll go through all this stuff with these guys,
Mm.
and then it's the guy that's the good guy, one infraction, and he's gone. She's done. So
Yes,
there, yeah, I didn't describe it in that way. I think I'm gonna steal that from you.
it's like Jeff Bezos's wife, like, cause she, like, obviously, when they got together, he was like the nerdy kid,
Yeah.
and now he's cheating. She's like, no,
Hmm.
because she doesn't
Yeah.
see who
Yeah.
he is now. Like, she doesn't see who he is now. Like, she
Hmm.
still sees the guy she like started with. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Yeah. Is the woman he's with now? Is that his current? Is that his first wife or is this his second wife?
No, this is the second. He cheated on his
Okay.
first wife with her.
Oh, okay. So the second wife, the only image I have of her, forgive me for this, but like it was when they were on a red carpet and Leonardo DiCaprio was standing in front of the two of them, and seeing her face marveling at this man in front of her boyfriend slash husband was like fascinating to me. And I'm like, he is a billionaire and she's still gawking at this other dude. I'm like, oh, ain't
That
none of us safe, man.
that
Ain't
woman
none
has
of us
that
safe.
woman has to be studied. Like,
We
she
we,
just
we, we like it's just Will Smith, Jeff Bezos, Steph Curry. It just doesn't seem to matter how high a guy gets. A woman will humble him by accident. By accident, sometimes it's amazing to see.
No, if you look at the last wife's dating history, it's like had a kid with an NFL player, then
Mm.
broke up with him, married 100 million, then broke up with him and married a billionaire. And I'm
She's
like, she
game.
still has the ability to secure rings, even though she has two different baby daddies and she's like 55.
Listen, she collected them rings like Infinity Stones, and I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
mad
what I
at it.
said. I said, you know what? There's some women that you don't know what the hell they got because they're clearly, she must gluck gluck or something. I don't know.
She got that thing on her. That's all I
Yeah,
know. She got that thing.
I don't know. Okay, so the next topic we're going to talk about is passport bros.
Hmm.
What is your opinion on men that go overseas to date? Do you think that's a good idea, a bad idea? What's your general take on it?
I'm actually, believe it or not, fairly neutral because first of all, these are grown men that can do whatever they want with their money and their time and their energy.
Hmm.
But with that said, I want men that are doing it to be very intentional and cautious with the countries that they're doing that in. Because a
Okay.
lot of times when men put themselves in these situations, I know that men are going for all hosts of different reasons. Some to find a feminine woman who they can build a life and family with, some because they just want to do sexual tourism, some just for the sake of being able to have fun during trips. I get the whole nine, right? All these different reasons and rationales and justifications for doing it. Cool. My issue and concern is twofold. One, men have to recognize that what do you think the men that are in some of these countries, especially the countries where your dollar goes further, how do these men feel about you? And you have to be cautious as more and more men that are coming from your area are doing the same thing. These men will start to get more tribal and possessive about seeing all of these foreigners coming into their territory. It's almost like a sexual form of gentrification. Like it's a thing where people start seeing you creeping in, and you could actually start putting yourself a little bit at risk. So make sure that you're kind of being safe with the areas and environments that you're doing and putting yourself in. And then number two, although it's fine to do that, and it is what it is, I do wonder if there's men that haven't figured out how to get some of the experiences that they're getting over there back here. My issue is like I'm in the camp that like I've learned that if you can talk to the most beautiful women in one country, you can effectively do it everywhere. The difference is really just the expectations of what is granted. So these women in other countries can actually be just as forward and straight up front about what it is that from a transactional standpoint they want from you. The difference is they're just softer and more feminine when they do it. They still want something from you. They're not just having sex with you guys for free. They're not like, oh, he's American, cool, let you smash. It's really about like you're still paying in some way, shape, or form. I'm not going to use Myron's quote of the whole was that all women are gold diggers necessarily, but they all 99% of them don't want you to come with nothing to the table when you're approaching them. So if you're going to do that abroad, be safe about it, be smart about it, and do you.
Could you argue, and this is a thought I'm playing with, when women are the most valuable, they almost gold dig the least? Because that's when women will sleep with like anybody when they're young, like the bartender. It's like when we get older, then we have like money standards. But like what 18-year-old really, I don't see them gold digging as much. Or do you see something different?
No.
Yeah.
And this is kind of relates to like Rollo and other podcasters, the manosphere, mountaintop perspective of like women don't typically truly understand what a decline from the mountaintop, where on the mountaintop, they start at the top. 18 years old, men their age, men in their 20s, men in their 30s, and potentially men in their 40s are all of a sudden checking for her. She didn't have to do anything to earn it. She's just now seen as valuable. She could, depending on how beautiful she is, she could get access to athletes, doctors, lawyers, celebrity men.
Oh, yeah.
Really wealthy people. And she didn't have to do anything to accomplish it. And when you're born into something like that, and it's reinforced for your first 10 to 12 years worth of adulthood, I'm not shocked that many of them struggle with not seeing. It takes them a while to realize like I'm not getting as much attention as I used to. And as I'm getting older, many of the men that are younger than me, I don't want. And many of the men that are my age are starting not to check for me. It takes them a while for it to really, really click and hit in. And usually it's when men stop offering drinks as much, when they stop approaching them as much. And probably I know the telltale sign when they are in a room and a younger, more fit, beautiful woman walks in the room and she no longer exists to the other men in the room. That is usually when it starts to hit them.
Yeah, I agree. So tell me the story of your dating apps in Atlanta and Chicago and how many likes you got. And what does that story tell us about modern society?
So this story I don't know why it's blowing up so much, but back in 2020, I was on a couple of dating apps. I was on Bumble, which is how I ended up meeting my wife. But at the time, I think we were only 2 weeks into knowing each other. I still had BLK, which is a black dating app, up on my phone as well. And early 2020, I had to do a layover flight to Chicago. And I had to fly to Atlanta, sat in the airport for 2 hours, and then, ended up in Chicago and got off the plane. And so this was only about 2.5 hours of downtime. And when I got in the car, I turned my phone on and I actually checked the app. And the app, I forgot, was on and it was going by my geolocation. And when I opened up my phone and opened up that app, after 2 hours in Atlanta and about 20 to 30 minutes in Chicago, I had about 72 to 74 women that had initiated and matched up with me from those two cities.
Wow.
Within 2.5 hours, almost 75 women. And that is a reflection of two things. One, the market is skewed for men that meet and check off certain requirements. If a lot of women think that you're fairly educated, if you carry yourself a certain way, if you know how to dress your profile up a certain way, and if they can glean what you say you do for a living and potentially how much you make, if you land in a city, God forbid if you stay in the city, you have a massive advantage over 80+% of the men that's already there. So just landing in the airports, not even walking around, I had almost 80 women within a 2.5 hour time span. Now, mind you, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a model. I'm not rich or even super rich. And if those are my numbers, can you imagine the guys that actually live there? The guys who are wealthy, the guys who are athletes? It's probably in the thousands. And the reason why that story is so interesting is because as women become more selective and believe that their optionality is unlimited of all the options and choices I have, they don't really realize that when you're not your best version of yourself, the guy who gets that type of attention doesn't have to tolerate it, doesn't have to commit, and will very quickly replace you with no hesitation or trouble. And they don't realize that often until it's too late, when they're at a space and point where they're going to have much more difficulty having children, not having access to the same men that they may have had before. And worse, they may be in a position where for the first time they have to reevaluate, if I am going to get married, if I am going to settle down, it has to be with a man that wasn't my first, second, or third choice.
And how did your matches compare? Because I think Tinder's been in the market for 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So how did your matches compare from like today, or then when you said you were 30, to like when you were 20? Or would that have been before? Were you on the apps before that?
No, I had come out of a previous relationship before that.
Okay.
So I had gotten married around 25, gotten divorced around 29, and 30, I'm back out there in the streets. And, I hadn't been on dating apps before that. So this was my first time really trying dating apps, and I'm 30 by this point. And I was like, whoa, I didn't realize it was this easy. It was but what I didn't realize is that my experience wasn't every man's experience. I learned that over time with observation, that some guys got way crazier numbers than me. And women, by doing this, where men didn't have to pay a dowry, they don't have to meet your family, they don't have to go to your church or your religious synagogue of some kind. They have to do almost the bare minimum of nothing other than being funny, sounding cool, and looking good to get access to your body and potentially get you to give them a kid. They created a market, probably unknowingly, where men that can do that are now men that look like me are now having body counts, and men that look way better than me are now having body counts that's rivaling kings during medieval time.
Yeah.
And you're expecting those men, all of those men that you want, to want to be not only with you, but only you for the rest of your life and theirs. Interesting.